Hello, rodeo fans. Welcome back to the Short Round Podcast, the official podcast of the Canadian Professional Rodeo Association. I'm your host, Wacey Anderson. Once again, pleased to be joined by the one and only Clay Creasy. Clay, we officially got our first rodeo of the 2026 calendar year in the books. The Rimby West of the Fifth Pro Rodeo wrapped up. Okay, a couple weeks ago now, but I mean, we can still talk about it. Some cool stuff happened throughout that weekend, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think right off the top, and Barb had mentioned it on the website there, the star of the show was Bonnet's horse, Cajun-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Heck of a stallion that's come up through the futurities and wins the team roping. Keely and Logan ended up on the top there and then ended up second in the barrel racing as well. That's a lot of work and a lot of versatility. I know there's going to be quite a few good colts and fillies coming out of that bloodline. Sure.
Has it happened before where a couple has qualified for the CFR riding the same horse all year? Probably,
You know,
maybe. Yeah. Maybe kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
it's obviously not the norm, right? But
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how much. I mean, obviously, I'm not talking to them too much, but how much they plan on hauling him as
Hmm.
he's a valuable asset to him. You want to get those results while maintaining the health of your prized possession. But yeah, it'd be cool. I think at one point, Steele DePoli and maybe his mom Suzanne have
Hmm.
both rode the same horses on each end and everything, but you
And
never know.
competed at the
So
CFR too on the same horse?
I can't remember if they both competed in the same time or anything,
Right,
but
right.
at least I know, yeah, horses moved around in
Yeah.
different and
Interesting.
down in the states there. I'm pretty sure Sherry Servey and has ridden horses that have potentially been to the NFR on both ends as well. So it's
Dang,
it's rare, but
it's rare.
there's
Yeah. I
some
mean,
out there.
imagine if they get to the CFR and they bring them and then you see a horse competing in the on the same round in two different events. It'd be pretty cool.
No doubt. Yeah,
Who do you think has
it'd be a
first
good
dibs on
show.
them? Keely or Shelby?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I'm gonna weigh in on that one.
I guess they can reach out if they hear this hear us talking about them. They can reach out and let
Yeah.
us know. That's nonetheless really cool. And I know Barb also mentioned that Keely and his team roping partner Logan, they're brothers, right?
Yes,
Yeah, his
exactly.
brother
Yep.
Logan. They've missed out on the last few CFRs, so I know they're really hungry to get back in there and get back up to Edmonton and kind of show what they got. So I mean, it's I mean, Wimby's not the biggest hit of the calendar, but I mean, every dollar counts as we've seen the last few years with how tight some of the races get. So I mean, if you can get the ball rolling early, it's going to help you as we get into that later end of August into Armstrong.
No doubt. And I mean, like you say, the rodeos like Grimby don't always get all of the big publicity and everything, but yeah, it's a great way to get the season started.
Mhm.
I got to chat with Dustin Duffy yesterday, and I mean, he said they're just feeling like they're getting their feet under them there in Rimby. It's the fourth year that they've had this rodeo, and it's really starting to come around,
Mhm.
and you're getting the crowd into it and getting things going. So yeah, I mean, rodeo's rodeo, and you still enjoy those spring ones. They're a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, they're gonna yeah, like you said, it's only gonna get bigger and better, and that facility up in Rimby is beautiful. So I mean, it's a great place for a spring rodeo. So I mean, especially in a time of year when things are slow up here, if you can have somewhere for our athletes to go, it's only gonna get bigger and better as we move through it. And it's a bit of a hiatus now. We don't see another Canadian Pro Rodeo until April 10th and 12th at the Medicine Hat Bronx and Honky Tonk Spring Rodeo. So we don't have a whole lot of other Canadian rodeo news to report on in this first half of the show here, Clay. But another massive moment that happened over the past couple of weeks was BC bull rider Jake Gardner taking home the win down at the Houston Rodeo, making history. Well, he's our guest today on the podcast, and I was talking to him and I asked if he was the first Canadian to win the bull riding down there, and I think that I didn't do my homework and double check, but I think he was. So making history. I mean, um, what a cool moment for him, currently sitting number one in the world.
Absolutely. And he is, I mean, 2 years ago, that 2024 and that first year where the CFR was back in Edmonton, and he was just pushing to the very end to try and make that NFR and got pretty banged up.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, that really, I think, kind of impacted him going into the CFR, and it just makes kind of a rough end of the season, right? Similar to say a Q Taylor a couple years ago, where you're
Hmm.
fighting towards the end and you don't get where you want. And even maybe say last year CFR didn't go quite the way he would have wanted, but I know we've talked in the past about guys that, you learn from your missteps. You
Hmm.
learn from those times where it didn't work and you figure it out. And the one thing that I kind of noticed, because I actually got to watch that 4 round, was after he bucked off his first one, and I mean, it's that moment you're wanting to do your absolute best. You
Hmm.
want that moment, and it didn't work out. And I watched him, and he was kind of walking out of there, and he kind of almost looked kind of mad. And I'm not sure what it was that kind of caught his attention. And he kind of looked, and he just smiled, and it was like everything just kind of
Hmm.
changed, right? And
Hmm.
and they talk so much about having that short memory and being able to put that away. And at that point, he didn't even know that there was a possibility that he was going to have a ride off
Hmm. Hmm.
or another bull run in, right? But just to see him be able to kind of just put that behind him and then for things to work out the way it was, I just think that's just such a cool moment, right?
Yeah.
And everything. And I mean, he was a last minute replacement
Hmm. Hmm.
even. And I had somebody else say, one of the things is uh, whether it works out or not, first bull went maybe away from his hand, but isn't necessarily his comfort zone, but gets that one under his belt. And I mean, he went sick. He had a score in every round from then
Yeah.
on out.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, just a dominant
Hmm.
showing once he actually got rolling. So just yeah,
It's cool.
not there by mistake at all.
And yeah, I think over the years too, like Jake's one of those guys, his motor's running at 100 mile an hour all times, and he gets pretty fired up. And like you say, to see him kind of rein it in and focus on the task at hand, it just shows how much he's matured as a champion over the past few years. I know you kind of touched on it. He's let a couple Canadian titles in the bull riding slip away on him. He just missed the NFR a couple years ago, so I think something like this is something that can set him on a course where who knows where it stops. I mean, like he once he gets rolling, he gets fired up, he's consistent. I mean, he could be in the running for a world title all year the way things are shaping up. And I mean, obviously the $65,000 hit from the shootout makes a big difference. But I mean, like you said, he's still got to get the job done and win that round. So I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch how it goes. I had Google AI do some math for me and figure out what it took to qualify for the bull riding in 2025 at the Wrangler NFR. And I think it was 156,000 was 15th hole heading into Vegas. And then I think 164, 163 was 11th, 12th. So he's about halfway at the halfway point of what he needs to win to qualify in that position. And I know for Jake says it in the interview where he's not looking just to qualify, he's looking to be a contender. So I mean, and there's so much money from now until then. Like if he just rides half as good as he usually does, he'll be just fine.
No doubt. But I mean, when you look at honestly like the bull riding and the bronc riding,
Hmm.
because they've got so many of those extra events, like so
Yeah,
many of the extreme bulls and the extreme broncs, that's what pushes that dollar amount up so
yeah.
high. Some of the other events, yeah, you win Houston and it almost secures it for you entirely.
Hmm.
But like you say, he's only kind of halfway there. But absolutely, I mean, I mean, I watched him at a couple of rodeos. He picked away a little bit here so far, but this is just going to set him right on the right path and gives him that leg up where a guy can rodeo the way he wants to,
Yes, yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
And having that, like you don't let the air out of you, but you also, you don't have to push necessarily, hopefully like he did 2 years ago when he's on the
Yeah,
outside looking in.
that's just it. Yeah,
And
hopefully towards that time of the year, he's battling for seeding in the top whatever, rather than just trying to get his way there. Like that just
yep,
changes the whole game when it comes, like you say, when it comes to entering and where you're going. That's the beauty of it,
yeah.
I guess. That's why you would want to do good in the winter.
Yeah, and we talked. It's not an absolute given to come out of there in the top five, but it sure does help. And those guys that haven't gotten there before, it just it's the start of a story of their career change
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
lot of cases, right? It's their guys that haven't been there yet, but then you'll look back down the road and you'll be like, okay, they're two or three times making it to the NFR or having that success, and you can see this moment here is what kind of started that. So.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun to watch him, man. Like we touched on. A few other honorable mentions from Houston. So we want to talk about Disco Party. Completed the basically the clean sweep of the first three rodeos of the Texas Swing. They won Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio on the back of the the black white face bucker from the Calgary Stampede. And what a start to the season for that horse and for Rocker Steiner because he won two of those rodeos, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I think he won San Antonio.
Well, it
Anyways,
was Tilden won Fort Worth,
that's right.
and yeah, I'm trying to remember if he had won San Antonio or yeah.
Anyways,
But anyways,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. And that horse, been a big fan, kind of watching her since she started, and she's got so many similarities in a lot of ways to how her mom kind of started out. So
Mhm.
she's out of Lunatic Party of Outlaws, and they both kind of when they started out, they get up, they got that hang time, they got that air time, comes from that Lunatic Fringe line, but didn't necessarily always finish the kick. And
Mhm.
I can remember seeing some of the time. I mean, they'd still be a bunch, quite a bit of points, but she just maybe not kick every jump or just not quite there. But she's gotten to where she just figured it out. And again, like her mom did, uh, throwing that grated coconut into there gives that extra oomph to it for
Yeah.
sure. But she's just, yeah, she's in her prime and she is just the star, the one you want, right? I mean,
Oh
Agent
man.
Link's still out there, but Disco Party's kind of stealing that show and yeah, looking to win some more prizes and accolades this year.
Yeah, she's really found her stride. And the first time she ever got on my radar was the short round in Pinoca 2 years ago, 2024, I think it was when she bucked off Oren. And then like that, she made Oren stubbed his toe a little bit, and she made him pay for it. And I was like, dang, that's a bucker there. So it's kind of been fun to watch her develop over the last few years and become the premier or one of the premier bucking horses going down the road right now. So tip of the cap to the Calgary Stampede for that one. And then our next Houston honorable mention is our buddy Cole Ashbacker, who's really come on strong in 2026. He missed the NFR the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's he's kind of and whether it's been some of them rodeos or the CFR, I'm sure he wouldn't necessarily say that it's gone quite the way he's wanted.
Hmm.
I mean, he's fought and I mean, a couple of years ago when unfortunately his mom passed away, he made it in that last weekend of the year and that was such a great moment to see. But I mean, it's a guy who's made the NFR before
Hmm. Hmm.
and has showed up well there. I mean, he rides so consistently. I mean, you're throwing him off is hard
Hmm.
and everything. And but sometimes uh, struggles maybe with a little bit of that extra polish and shine.
Yeah.
And Houston, he had it all going for him. He
Hmm.
rode outstanding. It was great to see him and kind of reach that level and everything. And I mean, I think he could have had a better result out of what he ended up being given in that 4 round and everything. But it's again one of those moments where maybe it didn't go exactly at what you
Yeah.
want, but it's sure going to set him up on the right path for this year. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's looking good. He's currently sitting 14th in the PRCA World Standings. So Cole's looking to get back to his second national finals rodeo here in December. But yeah, it was a fun couple weeks of rodeo there, Clay. And I think we'll press pause on the rodeo recaps and we'll throw it to our interview for this week. The number one bull rider in the world, Jake Gardner. So enjoy. We'll be back right after this. Hello, rodeo fans, welcome back to the Short Round Podcast. This week, I am super stoked to be sitting down with the current number one bull rider in the world, BC's own Jake Gardner. Jake, it's been a crazy week, eh?
Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks.
Man, let's get right into it, dude. I mean, coming off a huge win at Houston, where does that win stack up in your career? Obviously, it's got to be pretty high up there at this point.
I think that's probably the best one, and it'll probably stay the best one. I don't know if I can beat that. I guess, well, I will with World Championship. That's the plan. But as far as winning a rodeo, it would be hard to top that. I think Pendleton would be pretty cool, but uh, just super grateful for it.
Well, let's talk about that shootout round, man. It was kind of a little tense there. The first you guys went on one bull, bucked off, and then you had to do another ride off for a second round there. So, what was your feeling going on to that second bull? Did you know him at all, or did you just kind of just let him all hang out?
I kind of had an idea what he was. I knew he was real up and down.
Mm.
I think he normally spins to the left a little longer than he did. But I knew he was a good one to have, and I just needed to shake off the one before and go at that one. And when he turned back to the right there, I kind of felt tapped up. I kind of on that second one, I wasn't getting bucked off. I
Yeah.
don't think the first one kind of slipped. I wouldn't say it was from a lack of effort. I was late setting my hips that one jump, and he got me twisted way out there. There was no point of return, and that was just the way it went. And of course, I was disappointed, but I kind of shrugged it off quickly, and I'm glad I did because it was like, okay, now we're getting on again, and you need to ride this one, so don't screw it up. And I didn't, and so it went good.
Yeah, it worked out good, man. That bull fit your style perfectly, and yeah, if there's anybody going right now who can shake one off fast and get going again, I know it's you, man. You've been one of the most dominant guys in Canada for a long time and in the world. Last past couple of years, you've been right in the mix to qualify for the NFR, and now, yeah, sitting number one, you got 83,001 already. So how does that set you up for the rest of 2026? Obviously, it's a huge boost, but what's your mindset heading forward now?
I just want to keep my head down. I mean, yeah, it's a big win, but it's a long season, and in the grand scheme of things, like I don't just want to make the NFR. I want to be in that top spot. And so to be there, I'm gonna have to have a few more wins like that, and just kind of want to keep my head down and keep grinding, and just try and make every dollar count.
Well, I feel like everything's been building up to this, man. Like you look back to 2024, you had another outstanding season. You just missed the NFR, but you made some big rides on some big time bulls. And yeah, you again, you dominated up here last year. And then yeah, off to this torrent start in 26. I feel like all the work you've been putting in, all the miles you've been putting on has kind of led you to this moment to give you that chance to go chase your first world title.
Yeah, it's crazy you say that because that's kind of how I've been thinking about it here lately. At times in my career, there's been a big downfall, and times that make a guy really question what he's doing or why he's doing it, and if you want to keep doing it. Um, and coming close to a couple Canadian titles a few years, and coming close to making the NFR, and at that time, it's kind of detrimental to a guy. It can break you down if you let it, and but I'm glad I kept pushing through because after Houston, it was kind of like, okay, it all makes sense now. It was the universe's way of preparing you for a moment like that and being ready for it. And I felt like I really deserved it. I rode all my bulls there except for one, and I performed really well there. And it felt like the cards aligned, and everything works out for a reason. And yeah, it's just crazy the way things work out.
And it feels I feel like in those tournament format rodeos, like once you start building momentum, it's way easier to execute when it gets to like the semifinals, the shootout round, stuff like that. So I think just getting those like and I mean you don't have like you don't have to ride like all 90 pointers to get there. I mean you put some ride some decent bulls, put yourself in a position to win, you're gonna win a lot of money.
Yeah, that's just it down here. These tournament rodeos, you, the name of the game is ride your bull. You ride all your bulls, you're probably going to make enough money. You're going to advance. And then in the semis, you got to draw good ones, and you got to capitalize on the good ones you're given. Fortunately for me, I drew really good bulls all through Houston. Some of them were not as desirable, but I got the job done, and it worked out. But yeah, that's the thing is, you cover your bulls, you're probably going to get paid, and it's great when it works out that way.
Is there a moment from the last couple of years down in the US specifically where you kind of like moment where you're like, okay, I belong here. I can compete with these guys at a high level, week in, week out basis. When you think back on, do you remember like an exact moment when that happened?
Uh, I've always felt like I've had the talent to be
Mhm.
down there and perform with those guys. It's just a matter of consistency and putting it together.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago there, when I was really going hard down there, and I rode riding solo world champion buck and bull from Cord McCoy. Um, to do that was kind of like, okay, you can hang with the big dogs, and it gave me a lot of confidence to be down here. Is to ride one of them bulls like that, as you're one of the better guys in the world, and you can go do that down there. And so yeah, that's probably then, and um a few other moments for sure, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That was the one I was thinking of too, man. That was a hell of a bull ride, and it was like, okay, like we've known all along up here that you can do it, but I feel like down there was kind of an eye-opening thing. Like, hey, this guy's more than just a solid Canadian bull rider. He's one of the best in the world. So that was I was hoping that was the one you'd go back to.
well, yeah, man, I mean, you got to pay your dues down here.
Yeah.
Is a big thing. You don't get noticed until you ride good for a while,
Mhm.
and it's not for the faint of heart down here. You see guys come down here and they try and do it for a winter or a year, and then you never see them again because it's tough. It's really tough mentally, and it's a long year, that's for sure. So
Well, because
it's
you're down in Texas by yourself right now, right?
yeah, I'm down here right now. I've been bumming rides for the last couple weeks. I don't have a vehicle, so I'm in the 100X tent right now. This is
Nice.
actually the beer gardens after the rodeo here. And anyways, I was looking for a quiet place to do this, and I come in here and it's nice and shaded and it's good. But yeah, in the last 10 days, I've traveled with 5 different guys, jumping rigs and just living the life of a rodeo cowboy, and that's just how it is. It's not for the faint of heart.
How have you kept your mentality positive in that sense? I know for a Canadian guy, I know you know a lot of guys down there now at this point, but I mean, I feel like it can be a little isolating at points of it where you're a Canadian guy rubbing around by yourself. But I mean, yeah, what are you doing to kind of just keep your mind on the task at hand and staying positive?
Well, I think when you're winning, everything's good. So it's
Yeah,
not
that's fair.
bad.
Yeah.
So right now, everything's been good. But I mean, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I had a winter down here last year where it just wasn't going good, and I was worn out and just not having a good time. And um, I just I don't know. You got to try and look past why you're down here of riding a bull.
Mhm.
You can't just base your happiness on riding a bull and winning money. I mean, yeah, it's a positive, but you really need to look into like, oh, this is cool. I get to go to this town where this rodeo is and see these things. And you got to remember why you do it. And it's to have fun and enjoy it and enjoy going to the rodeos and watching the rodeo. And I think a guy sometimes being down here and you get on a slump and you buck off a bunch of bulls in a row and you're burning through your Canadian dollars and converting it to the US dollars and you're just burning through it. It's tough. And I've been on that side of it, but yeah, I think to maintain it, you just got to really try and find the positive in it and remember why you're doing it and try and keep a good attitude.
Who are some of the guys you've been hanging out with down there these last couple of years?
Uh, a good buddy of mine, Boudreaux Campbell. He's let me hang out down here and hang at his house. He's been a great friend down here. Tristan Hutchings, me and him are really good pals. I was with him all last week. Went to his place after the semis, hung out there for the week. We trained and did some stuff and worked around his place, and then uh, got a ride with him back to Houston, and then there's quite a few different people here I could list off for sure, but um, I don't know. Everyone down here, all these bull riders, we're all like family. So a lot of guys around here to help me out for sure.
We're seeing some more like I know you're a PBR guy as well, which is but it's great that there's the option to do both or do one or the other. But we're seeing some of the bigger PBR names migrate over to the PRCA, do some more rodeo. And why do you think that is? Is it just because the money available, it's just getting too big to not chase after, or what do you think the answer is?
I think being a rodeo cowboy is pretty fun.
That's a good
I
answer.
I mean I like the PBR for sure. They're fun, but I just think rodeoing and being a rodeo cowboy, you're free to do whatever you want, and really just live it the way you want. You don't have the cameras following you around, the people telling you where to be. So maybe they like that aspect of it. And
Right.
um, I think it's a bit more manageable now with the season being in the winter. Guys are able to maybe go in the summer, and so. Uh, but I just thought it's great to see that guys are able to come over and do that. It's really good for the sport on both ends, and it's fun watching for sure.
What's it been like going the last couple of weeks going toe to toe with I mean, and it's like I'm not. This is not me saying you can't do it or you've never done it before or whatever. But what's it like being those big moments against guys like Stetson Wrights and then those big names of the rodeo world? Like I said, it's not me saying you can't compete with them, but it's obviously there's something to it going against those big names.
Uh I mean it puts the pressure on you for sure. You got to rise to the occasion. When those guys are around, you can't be weak. You got to be as confident as you can. For me, like I love going up against guys
Yeah.
like Stetson. I look up to Stetson. He's one of the greatest rodeo cowboys to ever do it. And when I'm drawn up in the same I have no choice but to perform to my best because look who I'm performing against.
Right.
And so I feel like that's the way I try and look at it. I want those guys being there make me better and make me have to perform better. And it's also cool to be able to be up in the same group as those guys and watch them ride.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's fun to watch. So how does this affect your season coming up? Like, are you gonna change your strategy for rodeo, and are you gonna go a little harder than the U.S. now? What's kind of the way you're gonna? Because I assume, and again, it's everybody's goal at the beginning of the season. You still want to chase a Canadian title, which has kind of been eluding you the past couple of years. But I mean, now there's kind of two big things in front of you. But it's nice. I guess we have so many events here that double up. But like, is this gonna change your approach at all?
Um, I think my approach at the start of the year when I set my goals to go rodeo, and I didn't have it just to make the NFR, it was world championship. I'm going to go for it. I'm only getting older and I really want to go for the gold here. So
Mhm.
I think that's the where my goals are set is to chase that, them yellow shoots and that gold buckle. A Canadian title would be great. And that's something I do really want. And I think that's going to come. And I think if I just keep focusing on that main goal, that's going to come with it. And that's kind of the plan. Definitely going to stay focused on going to them rodeos in Canada, and hopefully I can get another season leader title.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna prioritize on making the best decision to go to the best rodeos where I think I'm going to make the most money throughout the year.
Well, I think that's the nice thing about having a good winter run is like now you're kind of set up to where you can pick and choose from the big ones and just keep plugging away, and then you have a few rodeos left over at the end of the year if you need to go to some of those bigger ones. But it's kind of neat how the seat it's changed so much where it's like there's so much money available throughout the whole season that now you're kind of set up to just pick and choose and do what you need to do.
Yeah, it's crazy how much money's up in events. Thing is in the summer, like that June to the end of September is there's so much money to be
Crazy.
won. So
Yeah.
the more a guy can get one this year, this time of year is a bonus. But um, throughout that summer run, a guy wants to be primed up and riding good because there's a lot of money to be won there.
Is seeing what Jared Parsonage and Logan or Jordan Hansen did there, like did down in the U.S. Cup last like a few years ago. Like Jared went to the NFR, had a really good NFR, finished fourth in the world. Was that a bit of an inspiration for you, being like, hey, I can compete against those guys, I can beat those guys, and I can go down there and do the same thing they're doing?
Yeah, for sure. Seeing those guys down there definitely is like it's cool to see other Canadians doing that, man. If they can do it, I can sure do it. So those guys being down there is so cool, and for them to be down there it definitely motivated me to try and do it as well. And uh yeah, it definitely helps.
What is it? What is it? Do you hope this inspires more Canadians to go get going? I mean, like we have so many talented guys, and I feel like you say if you stick with it and pay your dues and do what you need to do, like there's a so much money and so many cool places you can go and do and compete at that. I feel like we need more of our guys chasing after it. So do you feel like winning Houston, doing what you're doing now, and chasing it like you are, like is that do you hope that inspires kind of the next group of guys to start going down there?
Yeah, I really do. One thing I like seeing is these young guys being down here, like Jet, Grady, and Jeremy are down here right now, and we're hanging out in Austin. And just last night they were all on the shoots, and it made me happy to
Yeah.
see some Canadian bull riders down here. It was like, heck yeah, boys. And I was talking to them last night, and I was just like, it's cool you guys are down here, and don't get, if the things aren't going good, don't get discouraged because at least you guys are down here.
Mhm.
You're winning at something just entering down here because there's guys that don't even come down here, and because it's hard. And um I think in Canada right now is bull riding, you can make 200,000 in a year. Like I just went and did it last year, and I'd hardly left.
Right.
And the winter I was trying to rodeo, and then PBRs went good and I stayed up there. But yeah, it's just I think that hopefully these young guys they see that and what kind of money can be won. And I'm 29 years old. It took me 9 years to win a major rodeo like that, and I went through the trenches to do it.
Hmm.
But but I never quit. I never gave up on it, and that was the one thing is I pipelined when I was younger and in the winters to save money to go rodeoing all summer. Well, I wanted to make this my job, and I've made it my job, and it's possible to do, but it's been hard. And shoot, I've been broke a few times doing this, and And that's just, I think, part of being a rodeo cowboy is it's not that glamorous as you think. And you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And um, I hope these young guys and I hope they want to start coming and then I can help them out and hopefully guide them in the right direction and get them in the right rodeos and just motivate them more to be down here because yeah, I agree. I think we have great Canadian talent. Um, we got to get our butts down here and but it's like I said, it's tough because you can stay in Canada and make a darn good living
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, it's nice. Like, I mean, with everything being co-approved these days, like you can like I think the last time Jared made the NFR, he made a majority of his money in Canada. Like there is some big we have some big rodeos where you can make some big moves. I mean, on the scale of the US is a lot different, obviously, with I guess it counts 1-1 in the standings. I didn't realize that till last year, which is crazy. So the exchange doesn't really
yeah,
hit you in the standings, hey. But anyways,
yeah,
like I think it's a double-edged sword, like you say. It's like it's easy to stay home and make the good money there, but I think yeah, any cowboy who's chasing it, like you want to be in those gold buck and shoots and win a gold buckle and be down there in Vegas. But yeah, and then I think part of it too, Jake, is learning how to win. Like you said, it took you 9 years to get to this point, and it's something I talk about quite a bit with people. Is just that you got to go through the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys, just to learn how to win. And then when it comes together, it's got to be the best feeling in the world.
yeah. I mean, it's anything in life. You pick something you really love doing, and you have to realize you're going to fail at it a bunch, and eventually you're going to succeed at it, right?
Mhm.
And if you don't quit, it's gonna eventually have to work out the way you want it to, right?
Yeah,
So, um, I'm very fortunate. I have a great support system of people behind me that push me and motivate me, and have always kept me in check. So that's really helped. But yeah, it's just guys got to get down here, and I think them young guys got to come and you got to couch surf. You got to get on the trades list and talk to random guys and say, "Hey, man, you think I could catch a ride here with you?" And
yeah,
you got to do that stuff to be down here, and it's uncomfortable. And if you're willing to go through that, it's helps you out a bunch.
yeah. Definitely that'll pay off in the end. Okay, kind of a two-part question. What was it like rolling up to the trophy room in Houston, seeing that saddle and that buckle sitting there? That's the first part of the question. You can answer it, and I'll ask you part two.
Well, like for years I've been going there. You go do autographs, and at the one autograph place or whatever, you go before the rodeo and you do the autographs, and they have a trophy case there with the bull riding saddle in there. I think they have the bull riding saddle and another one at the other place. But every time you go up there, and I just remember over the years always seeing that, and I just was like, I'm gonna get that sucker one day, and just you visualize having it or holding it or whatever you want to do, right? And yeah, I was pretty crazy to hold that, and um, I'm excited to hold it again and look at it for a little bit because I haven't really got to see it for that long. Right after the rodeo, Cole Ashbacker was headed north, and I said, "Hey, you mind taking this?" And he took her up there for me. So
Right on. And then what did it feel like strapping the Houston buckle on your belt, or did you send that home too?
I put it on for a few days, but um, I got her tucked away in my backpack now. I got a different buckle. I ride with it, so I didn't want to get that Houston buckle all scuffed up before I show it to a few people. I might put that one up on the wall and
Yeah.
save it. But uh yeah,
Are you the first Canadian to win Houston, the Canadian Bull Rider?
I believe so. I
Yeah.
haven't really looked into it. I think somebody a couple people have told me that. I guess.
Man, that's cool. That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, and the beat's gone on for you, man. I just saw that you were 84 and a half in Austin last night to punch your ticket to the semifinals. So just full steam ahead, hey?
Yeah, man, that's just it. I mean, it's we won that one, but I got to keep pushing forward here and um it's a long season, so it's just a guy can't take it lightly now,
Yeah.
right? I got to keep it rolling. And that was kind of my thing last night was like, okay, like keep it going here, man. Keep it rolling and do your job properly. And uh, yeah, I got a good one from Sammy Andrews rode last night and got to the semis here tonight. So I'll go there and hopefully get another one rode. Be back here Saturday. I fly over to Cave Creek, Arizona tomorrow. There's a rodeo over there, and then I go to Chandler on Friday for an Extreme Bulls and
Nice.
If I don't make it back here, then I'll be Ivans on Saturday. Ivans, Utah.
Dang, dude. Rodeo, and that's awesome. Do you know what you got in the short go tonight? Or sorry, semifinals,
Um,
sorry.
on the list here, it says Brett Silver, Powder River.
Nice.
I looked him up. He's a good one. I like him. I'm excited to get on him tonight. So
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's the way you ride. There's not a lot of bulls that don't fit your style, so I'm sure you're gonna be in good shape.
well, I don't know. I did some critiquing here last year, and I really worked hard at fixing some things. And this year, it don't matter what way they're going. It's feeling really good, and I'm feeling consistent, and that's the name of the game is consistency. So
Yeah, buddy. Well, man, it's been really fun to watch you this spring, and we're all. I speak for a lot of people. We're really proud of you for what you've done so far down there, and it's gonna be fun to watch you chase it the rest of the season.
yeah, I appreciate it, and it's cool that I can share this moment with everyone in Canada. I just really appreciate everyone's support up there, and it's cool to be Canadian and have everyone cheering me on and congratulating me, and it's just very grateful to have all those people. So thanks to everyone out there that's ever pumped me up or cheered me on.
Yeah, buddy. We're pumped, and yeah, thanks for taking the time today. It was fun to catch up, and we'll see you down the road, eh?
Yeah, sounds good. Good talking to you. Take care.
Welcome back to the short round, everyone. Thanks again to Jake Gardner for taking the time to chat with us. Yeah, we talked a bit about it on the top of the show there, Clay. It's going to be exciting to watch him as we roll through the latter half of 2026, and we'll be hoping and wishing that he can make his way down to those yellow bucket shoes. It's going to be fun. So moving on to kind of some more current events, current results that happened over the weekend. Uh, I guess the biggest news of the weekend was Zeke Thurston, the 2025 Canadian champion saddle bronc rider, won the Austin Rodeo with a 91.5 point ride in the finals. He also won the semifinals with an 88.5 point ride. So I guess Zeke kind of let the rodeo world know that he's ready and he's back and he's going to be making it hard for everybody else to be winning some money here over the next little while.
Yeah, yeah. Just in case anybody forgot
Yeah.
how good Zeke Thurston is, he showed up, and that Austin Rodeo, like, you watch it year over year, and I mean Butlers, they bring some fire breathing
Hmm.
dragons to that
Hmm.
rodeo. I mean, it is a hard deal in that bareback riding and that bronc riding, and I mean that horse, it fired out of there,
Hmm.
and I mean that's anybody, if you quit at any moment in there, that horse had so much drop, like it's done. I mean, shoot, they bucked off Stetson Wright in that 4 round or in that finals on an old Ash Cooper horse actually.
Oh wow.
But yeah, like I mean, you watch Tucson, you watch Austin, those Butler rodeos, when they get that short round sorted out and drawn out, it's work.
They ain't making it
And
easy.
Zeke, I mean, those are the moments that Zeke lives for.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was talking about seeing podcast clips. I saw him talking with I think it was with Brisby, and they were talking about how when Zeke first cracked out, it was at Tucson in 2015. He got past Killer B. And I
Hmm.
mean, at that point, Benny Butler would have no idea who he was. I mean, he obviously would have known his dad, Skeeter, and
Yeah.
everything, but it's like, all right, kid,
Have fun.
hopefully we see you after this one because she's a killer. But I mean that's the moments he lives for,
Hmm.
and yeah, he hangs out in Texas and goes to his rodeos, and whether it works big or not, he's still going to be showing up and doing his thing. But yeah, to leave that one out there, take that branding iron home, that's just another feather in his cap.
Yeah, I think I was kind of just waiting for the big Zeke moment from the winter. He usually makes a big ride somewhere, pulls a big check somewhere, and it was finally good to see him pull through there in Austin. And yeah, like you said, classic Zeke Thurston, just forced through everything but the kitchen sink at him with those first few jumps, and he made it look as easy as anybody up there. So, yeah, good job, Zeke. Happy to see you back in the win column, and yeah, look out top 15 because he's a coming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh,
Well, and there were so many of them, and we'll talk about a few more of them. But yeah, the Canadians are just kind of all working their way up into there, and it's
yep.
just like, how many of them are going to get there?
Yeah, that's
But
just it. Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
okay, if yeah, it'll be fun to see how it all goes this year, especially in the Bronc riding. Like you say, you have so many Canadians in the mix and so many Canadians who are at that level that you could have over half of your top 15 be Canadians at the end of the day if things work out, if the cards fall the right way. But anyways, Ethan Mazarenko, a kid that we've talked about quite a bit over the last couple of years. He's kind of been scratching the surface of what his talent level is and what he can be and what he can do. And he made a big stride and a big move by winning the semifinals there in Austin. Made it back to the short round, didn't have the best luck there, but I think that's got to be a huge confidence boost to a kid like that, just going down there, making a good ride and competing with the best in the world.
No doubt, and talking about Disco Party, I know 2 years ago in Edmonton he got a go round win on her, right? And
Hmm.
that was at that point that had been definitely one of those high water marks for him. A guy who'd earned his first CFR qualification and came in riding with the big guys. I mean, there's some longtime legends that are still rodeoing up here, but I mean, we still are needing that new guard, and he's really kind of the lead of that charge, and it's great to see that translate down south and some confidence coming out of there. I thought he rode outstanding in that short round.
Hmm.
Uh, I think maybe you'd still get a little bit of that bias sometimes, maybe on one
Yeah.
side of them cards. Horse wasn't near as much of the fire breathers I was talking
Yeah.
about with the rest of them, but pretty sweetheart. So I'm sure a lot of that score just wasn't quite there from the horse end, but just you can only do what you can do. You ride the horse you got, and I think yeah, that's going to get to some positive momentum for him and hopefully bump him up into some more of them qualifications for some of those
Yeah.
other rodeos coming through and into the summer for him.
Yeah, big time. It's gonna be fun to keep track of that. A couple steer wrestlers did some good as well. Clay, Landon Beersworth, Ryan Schuckberg. Landon split second in the average. Ryan had outright fourth, but big week for those guys making some good runs in Austin.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about it before the show started. Austin's kind of one of them different ones where they have it where it's the tournament style in the rough stock events where it's sudden death for the finals. You don't carry anything in, but in the timed events, you're still working on what you did through the week, and so that always adds that extra wrinkle when you come to that short round. And they both made real good runs in the short round, and yeah, I mean it was tooth and nail there. Landon almost kind of squeaked it out until Nick Guy had a pretty sweetheart steer that handled real well
Yeah.
and everything. But no, good runs for those two, and they're both guys. I mean, Ryan won Pinoca last year. Landon got his CFR under his belt there 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and we're definitely going to see more of those guys down south and hopefully when we talk about making runs and rides in Vegas that those two young guys start getting a piece together down there and interesting side note on the weekend was that big steer wrestling jackpot they had as well.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So I mean 100,000 added in a steer wrestling, you definitely don't see that every
No.
year and even Scotty Gunther I saw was down there for that also, but no, you can't pass up that opportunity. And I see we did have a few Canadians that made some runs and made a little bit of money out of there, but not
Hmm.
quite as much as maybe they'd like to.
No, that's a huge step in the right direction for those steer wrestlers, man. Like if they can get more of those and get the right people involved, like sky's the limit, I feel like with that kind of deal. That's fun. I like it. That's a good call up. T McLeod and his partner Trey Yates won the short go with 3.7 second run. T McLeod's a guy we've talked about a lot too, man. Like he's got all the tools to be one of the best headers in the world, and we've seen him make big runs at big rodeos. And yeah, I think hopefully this builds up some momentum for him and his partner Trey, where they can start making a push for that top 15.
For sure. And the team open's always that interesting one because sometimes when you've been a guy that's done really well, either regionally or some like a circuit guy that just hasn't quite broke through and you switch up the partnerships and you get somebody who's been there. I know Yates maybe didn't have the NFR last year he would have wanted to, but he's been there. I mean,
Hmm.
he's a third generation NFR team roper. The Yates family's they know team roping up and down and so, yeah, I think that's a great partnership for T. And that short round, those steers were tough. I mean, you get
Hmm.
those slow ones, and I mean, you got to get a rope on them. That steer tried falling in behind T's horse pretty hard, and for them to make that run, it was great to see. And yeah, that's I mean, him and that gray horse, they work so well together. I think there's. Talking with Walker Ballon yesterday, maybe our team ropers aren't quite on the inside where they'd like to be when you're looking at the Grahams, you're looking at Cavis and Denham and those guys. They've been picking away. similar to kind of most of the events until here just recently. Our last show, I know we talked, we hadn't seen really
Not
any of those
much.
big
Yeah,
victories,
yeah.
but it's you see the baby steps sometimes that lead to that big moment. So hopefully we're seeing some more on that team roping end in the near future.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be long here once we get going, but yeah, it's something to keep an eye on for sure. We got some good young team ropers in the mix, and like you said, you got the Graham brothers who've been there, done that now at this point in their careers. See Jeremy Bueller popping up every now and again, so I mean, it's a team roping in Canada's in a good spot. Last mention from Austin is Grady Young, who I feel like. He's kind of like Ethan Mazarenko, like just starting to scratch the surface of what he can be and what he can do. We saw him do some really good stuff in Denver. We've seen him up in Canada the last couple of years, Calgary Stampede, what he did there. He's been in the top five or top four in the Canadian standings the last 2 years. Got all the tools to be great, and I think he can probably take some notes from a guy like Jake Gardner in the sense of like you got to just keep your head down, keep going, keep trucking, and it's all going to come together eventually. But yeah, he made a couple good rides over there in Austin. No luck in the finals, unfortunately, but. I think Grady's kind of one of those guys that once he can get that momentum and that confidence, that he's going to be tough to stop.
And it's crazy because he's been to two CFRs, but he's just barely like 20 years
I
old,
don't even think he could get a
right?
beer in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, we're looking at him like, oh yeah, but yeah, he's got so much ability, rides so well, and
hmm
yeah, I mean, got a great foundation on a career started already, and I think sky's the limit for him. We're gonna just keep seeing more and more.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch again. Like I keep saying that over and over again. It's fun to watch, but it is. It's cool. The state of our athletes in Canada is in a good spot, and it's really fun to keep tabs on how everybody's doing, especially this time of year when it's slow at home. It's fun just to watch, see everybody's going around what they're doing, and like I said, I'll take us to Watford City. I was down there this weekend for the Extreme Broncs and Barebacks. Really cool event, put on by the Smith Pro Rodeo team, produced by Adam Libby. Always fun working with that crew. But it was good to see some familiar faces there on Saturday night. I wasn't the only Canadian in the building. So that was fun to see. The Broncos come in and do some good. They took the top four back to the short go each night, and on Saturday night, three of the four that made it back were Canadians in the Broncos. So, as you could see by the results, Q Taylor took home the win in the long round, and then the Pierogi Bandit himself, Colby Wanchuk, was 91 in the short go there to take home the win. But it was a Saturday was like probably one of the best bronc ride and bareback ridings I've seen in a long time. Just that short go was electric. The horses were electric. It was all there.
Yeah, they definitely, and that's the one thing. Stace Smith, especially in the winter, it seems, but really any of his rodeos, when it's a big event, Stace, I mean, some contractors might try to do it all themselves.
Yep.
Stace is always great at making sure he's got a bunch of guys that are bringing a pen that matches up. Outlaw Buckers had some down there and
Yep.
everything, and just a good pen of horses, and yeah, even though it's over top of Austin, so you got a few guys that didn't make it up there because they were in Austin's short go. It's still, there's no lack of talent, and everybody's trying to get up there and do their best. And yeah, I can only imagine what that show would have been like for
Oh
sure.
man, yeah. It was when what horse did Colby ride to win it? Angel Cap, Smith
Angel
Brothers
Cat.
Angel Cat. And man, that I hadn't really seen much of that horse before, and man, it was just like picture perfect. And when Colby gets after him like that and gets his feet going, man, he can spur a horse with the best of them. So it was a hell of a way to finish it off. And yeah, like you said, it kind of was a quiet couple months there for our Canadian crew, but now everybody's just starting to pick away, make their way into that top 15, showing up more in the results. So it's been fun to follow, man. And I guess our last kind of results wrap up slash shout out will be Blake Molly, who won Montgomery, Alabama, which should bring her back close to the top 15. I know we just talked about before we started recording here that she was just on the outside looking in as it stood on March 11th. So that should get her back in the mix. But she's been off to a great start this winter, man. Like I know we talked about her horse and kind of the firepower he brings. But yeah, I think it's like Blake's going to be in the midst of it for NFR qualification all summer here.
Yeah, and I was just looking, following her on Facebook, and as of March 24th, she was up to 14.
Perfect. Okay. Good to know.
So yeah, after Montgomery there, it did kind of bump her on the inside. Her and JJ, yeah, they're just talking to someone the other day, and yeah, it's just if she keeps the barrels up, she's pretty much in the money.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's a lot of really good barrel horses when you start venturing down south.
Oh
It
man.
is not easy pickings down there, and all of those different setups, they're a challenge.
Yep.
But her and JJ been doing a great job since they started partnering up last summer, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the tandem that might be finishing the year the right way, hopefully. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, probably 100 times in the last 15 minutes is it's gonna be fun to watch and see how she makes out, and hopefully she can keep on trucking there. All right, Clay, a few more things here before we wrap up. I know not an easy part of the show, but unfortunately, over the past couple of weeks, we've had some big losses in the rodeo community. Starting off with Hugh Loring, his son Tanner was a CFRC rider last year. Um, yeah, just tough news. I know everybody who knew Hugh and had been around him were big fans of him, and he was a great guy and really heavily involved with rodeo in BC and youth rodeo, and obviously getting his kids going. So that's gonna be one that stings for a long time.
Yeah, that's just a tragic, tragic loss. I mean, you in a situation like that where you have an accident where, I mean, he's trying to help someone out.
Mhm.
I mean, it just goes to show what kind of guy he was. You never think twice of it, and you never want to see that situation happen. Thoughts and prayers to the family and friends. It's just yeah, that's just a tough, tough loss, and I know that there's lots of different areas of the rodeo community are looking to find ways to help out. I know Cowboys Choice out there in BC's got a hat auction going currently, and I'm almost certain you'll see likely lots of other events and support that's going to come out for that family because I mean, I mean, it's an enormous part of the rodeo family, but for that immediate family, that's just, I mean,
Tragic.
it's a tough, tough loss.
Yeah, so we're thinking of the Loring family, and yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with them and at this time. And I guess that takes us to Shirley Edge too, Canadian Pro Rodeo Hall of Famer, um, an integral piece, a big impact on the rodeo world in her lifetime. And yeah, it's another tough deal and one that'll kind of echo through the whole community here over the next little while.
Absolutely. The Edge name, I mean, that's one of our founding families of rodeo
Hmm.
in Canada and always a tough one for everybody there. So
Yeah, so yeah, 'cause like we said, our thoughts and everything is with the families this time, and yeah, we wish them nothing but the best. Speaking of Hall of Fame, Clay, we just got the list of 2026 inductees into the Canadian Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. So I'm just gonna list them off here quick, and we can talk a little bit about it as a whole. So in the contestant category, we have Davy Shields Jr., Murray Linthicum, Scott Schiffner. In the builder category, we have Dexter Nelson. Then the stock, we have Kessler's Cool Alley, and then our legend this year is Catherine Ann Laws. Um, yeah, it's kind of a stacked list of people and contestants and animals, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting time for 2026 in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame.
no doubt. I mean, you look at that and I mean, Scott Schiffner legendary career,
Shoe in.
still working so hard on the production end, uh, putting on the rodeo schools, everything like that. Murray Linthicum, I mean, still dangerous. They he,
Yeah, he always popping
every
up
year.
still. Like he can still do it
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
it's a good thing it's not like career earnings of any sort because yeah, I mean he'd never be able to get in there because he just won't stop winning. I mean he
Yeah.
keeps going down to the World Series every year and I know it pops up and everybody's like, what is he?" Oh, but and then yeah, I know you had Davey on there
Yeah.
on the show here a couple years ago, and he's driving around being a hockey dad and everything. But yeah, and I mean Dexter Nelson, I mean the sports medicine team isn't where it is without him.
Hmm.
Kessler's Cool Alley, that horse I never did get on her. Um, Probably that's I mean I would love to say that I would have got her twisted, but he probably would have twisted me. I got to watch her in person many a time, and I actually remember the one time I was hanging out in Clover Lodge or Cloverdale, and Greg was talking when she was a foal, when she was born. Kessler's had enough mares at that point that normally when you number brand things, the first number will be the age.
Hmm.
But he said the year she was born, they had so many colts on the ground that she was actually born and it would have been 95,
Right.
not 93. So it was like, and I mean, Kessler's a lot of the time they would put the number, just the year brand on their colts when they were maybe a weanling or whatever,
Hmm.
and then eventually put the rest of the numbers on if they stuck it out. But yeah, they put the numbers around her, but. No, some big time moments. Championships won and lost on her. Calgary Stampede championships won and lost on her. And I mean, it was just we see horses now, and I mean, Virgil is kind of a comparable where you see something so big but so athletic. And I mean, Cool Alley was absolutely that.
Yeah.
She was just absolutely monstrous. But the amount of kick that she had and the snap, like it was just otherworldly.
Yeah, no, it's something else, man. And like we talked about it, it's a absolutely stacked list of inductees this year, and it's gonna be they do their dinner and usually in November, hey, for the new inductees.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a great event. You know,
Yeah,
they usually end up, I mean, there's so many both talented rodeo athletes and fans of the Hall of Fame that are also very musically talented. It looks
yeah,
like they always get a pretty good time there and yeah, so it's one of those things to get your tickets for and get to and
you betcha. Right on, Clay. Well, yeah, congrats to all those folks, and congrats to everybody who's been doing good these last few weeks down in the U.S. And we'll keep on keeping on, and we'll check in with everybody here in on the next show, I guess. Hey.
for sure.
Right on. Okay. Thanks, Clay. And yeah, this has been the short round. We'll be back again very soon.